When she came out of the garage, I was sitting on a chair in the middle of the kitchen, across from the laundry room. She saw me sitting there when she came to the laundry room door. I took a small table from the living room, on which lay several objects, stage props. I had a performance to perform. "Thomas?" There was a question in her voice. "What are you doing? Is there something wrong?" "No, nothing happened," I said. "I just thought you might want to help me with the fitting." "What? Trying on? What the hell are you talking about?" I picked up one of my items from the table. "This." I showed it off with pride. "They say they need to be adjusted." "What is this?" she asked. "What's going on, Thomas? Is it a joke? You're playing some kind of prank, aren't you?" While I enjoy a good prank from time to time, I wasn't kidding. Well, it was kind of a prank, but things were about to get very serious. "No, it's not a joke," I said. "This is a cage for manhood. You know, a chastity device." Her eyes bulged as if they were on stalks. I thought they looked amazingly like snail eyes, only the little stems were missing. "What the hell? Are you crazy? What are you talking about?" she asked. "I did some research," I told her. "We cuckold husbands must wear cages like these. In fact, this is the most important thing. You wear the key on a chain around your neck. Then after you finished with your lover, you should let me out so I can have some sloppy seconds if you decide to let me." "Thomas, what's wrong with you?" She looked at me as if I had grown a third eye. "I have no idea what you're talking about." "You are crazy?" "No, I'm quite sane," I said. "I just wanted to know how it all works so I could play my part. That's why I bought you a nice little chain." I lifted her up so she could see the key dangling from her. "You can wear this. Do you like this one?" I held out the cage. "I should have asked you. They have several styles. When will you introduce me to your lover?" "What the hell are you talking about?" Her voice rose almost to a scream. "What the hell is going on?" Obviously, she didn't like my choice. Hell, well, maybe I can get a refund. "Thomas, are you accusing me of having sex with someone?" "No, I don't like thinking about it that way at all," I said. "I don't blame them. This implies that I will judge you." "Blame is such a harsh term. You have sex with Greg Johnson, but blame is not. I just hope I got my role right. Now, if you can help me put this on..." I handed it to her. She took 2 steps forward, snatched it from my hands, and threw it violently into the laundry room. It was an amazing throw, straight into the dryer. "Stop it," she screamed. I looked offended. "Damn, Ronnie, you probably bent it. If you don't like it, you should have just said so. We could trade it for one you like. Now I'm going to have to spend a hell of a lot of time straightening it out so we can exchange it for the one you want." "Fuck that thing," she growled. "How did you... How long have you known?" I thought for a minute. "Well, today is March 15th, I said. "The first time was on February 11th at 7:44. It's 5:40 now. Do you need minutes or are hours enough? Hey, it's a sign of March. How fitting. On this day, Julius Caesar was killed. Now her mouth was open. She looked at me, opening and closing her mouth, but not making a sound. She looked like a carp stuck on dry land. It wasn't a very good view. "Why didn't you say anything?" she asked breathlessly. "What should you have said?" I asked. "Well, how about Veronica? You're a traitor." "How about, why are you having an affair?" "Is that what you want me to say?" I asked. "Don't you want to know why?" she asked. "I know why," I said. "I don't need to ask." She looked puzzled. "How do you know why?" "I know why deceivers deceive," I explained. "You're a sociopath," she gasped, and her big blue eyes filled with tears. "How can you say that? I thought that you loved me." "Well, what does this have to do with it?" I asked. "I love you. Well, I loved you before I found out that you were a liar and a traitor. Now that I know, I certainly understand that loving you is stupid. I just need to figure out how to adapt to our new roles." She made carp again. "Your lips aren't quite right," I told her. "They should be directed more downward." "What's wrong with you?" She was practically screaming now. "Why are you talking about my lips?" Well, carp's lips kind of point down so they can suck something from the bottom, I said. You're doing pretty well, but you need to work on your lips. She probably didn't know that I had done extensive research on carp and ignored my criticism of her travesty. Are you divorcing me? She asked. Well, yes, but it will take some time, I told her. It's over, Thomas. I won't see him anymore. I don't want a divorce. Well, that's amazing, I said. Usually, when a wife starts having sex with men other than her husband, it means that she wants a divorce. Well, maybe that's not what she wants, but that's the normal course of events. I didn't want you to find out, she said. It was just a short fling, Thomas. It's over, and I vow that I will spend the rest of my life being the best wife you can imagine. Well, that sounds very attractive, I said. I'm afraid I'll have to refuse. Thomas, please don't do this. Now she was begging. You know I love you. It didn't mean anything, it just happened that way. I'm telling you, it's over. Well, considering you never told me it all started, I just don't know how I can believe it, I said. How are you going to convince me? She stepped forward, pressing her curvy body against me. She was hot, no doubt about it. Let me show you, baby, she said. Well, did you plan for us to have sex soon? I asked. Anytime you want, baby, she purred. Have I ever refused you? Well, as far as I remember, no, I said. I think you should still get tested for STDs. It makes no sense for both of us to risk our health. If you could become infected with something, you would already... Her voice broke off. You haven't made love to me since I started, have you? She asked. Oh my God, Thomas, I didn't even notice. That's why you've been sick or tired lately, isn't it? Well, yes, I admitted. I'll get checked tomorrow, she said. What will happen now, Thomas? Nothing for a while, I told her. Divorces take time, you know. She moaned slightly. I told you that I don't want a divorce. I know, I said. I remember. This was just a few minutes ago. We don't need to get a divorce, she pleaded. I told you it's over. From now on, I'm going to be completely faithful to you. Yes, I remember that too, I said. I didn't believe you. Do you remember? Her face flushed. Yes, I remember. I don't know what's wrong with me. I didn't mean to have an affair, Thomas. We were just together at work all the time. He kept pestering me and I just became stupid. Okay? I'm really sorry. I know it doesn't mean much. I thought you'd be more upset. Oh, I was, I told her. I was very upset for several weeks. At first I thought about killing you. I took out an old pistol, and I even went to the shooting range to practice. Then I decided to kill your lover. I even had a plan to kill you both. Macy talked me out of it. She gasped. Does Macy know? Did you tell our daughter? Why did you do that? Do you hate me that much? No, I didn't tell her, I said. She told me. She looked like someone had punched her in the stomach. Carp looked like he was on steroids. When did she know? How did she know? So that's the reason... Oh my God. She hasn't called me since... She always tells me she's busy when I try... Oh my God. I'm not sure he's listening, I said. Is it possible? You shouldn't have sex with people other than your husband. Isn't one of his main rules? She just sat there, unmoved by my cheerful comment, with tears streaming down her cheeks. Finally, she woke up from her dreams. Thomas, what should I do now? She asked in an unhappy voice. I really have no idea, Ronnie, I said. Is there any book you could read? Maybe the site? How to explain to your daughter why you cheated? She looked at me with dull eyes. You don't have to hit me, she said. If it makes you feel better, I think you have the right. Do you enjoy hurting me now, Thomas? Well, yes, I think so. A little, I said. I wasn't cruel before. You made me this way. I'm sorry, she whispered. Can you help me now? I have no idea, I said. What do you think should happen when I find out? I didn't think you'd do this, she said. I didn't think, I just did it. Well, now that you know what your ideas are? I asked. She thought for a minute. What do you think about open marriages? she asked. I think these are divorces that haven't happened yet, I said. You are sure? She asked. I read about them in magazines and see people on TV. Yes, I'm sure, I said. I read about different things myself. By the way, would you rather be served with divorce papers here or at work? I don't want a divorce. She was shaking now. I won't give you a divorce, Thomas. I'm almost sure it's not up to you, I told her. I'm filing an application. You need to wait, I think 60 days. If you don't challenge it, then the judge will grant the divorce. I'm going to challenge this, she said. Why? I asked. You obviously don't want to be married, at least not to me. Why would you dispute this? I really want to be married, and to you, she said. Well, what about your lover? I asked. It seems a little counterproductive to staying married to me. In turn, I'm not going to put up with the role of a cuckolded husband. You're not a cuckold husband or whatever you say? She seemed alarmed. Well, technically, no, I admitted. Interesting Maisie is mine? She stared at me, her mouth open. Don't even think about it, she muttered. Of course she's yours. I thought for a minute. Do you think I should do a DNA test? She looked at me as if I were some kind of creature from Mars. In fact, I had already taken a DNA test and knew Macy was mine. I just pulled her chain. That's not necessary, she said. Macy is your child. I've never been unfaithful to you, Thomas. You mean before this year? I clarified. Yeah, I mean, are we done talking about divorce, cages, and wit? Whatever it is? Well, I guess. But the question of divorce will definitely come up, I said. First of all, you never told me where you would like to be served. I think there will be a hearing or something like that. We're not getting a divorce, she said decisively. With that, she went upstairs and I heard the shower running. I went to the Angus Grill restaurant and ordered a very tasty steak. Halfway through dinner, my phone rang. I answered. It was Ronnie. Where did you go? She asked. I'm eating, I told her. This is a very good cut. They're usually tough, but this one is super tender, and you know I've always loved the taste of a good sirloin. I heard choking sounds on the phone. Why didn't you ask me if I wanted to go? Thought you might want to call your lover and tell him it's over, I said. I didn't want my presence to disturb you in case things weren't over and you wanted to have a date. I like that word, don't you? Love date has a certain pathos in it. I was going to tell him tomorrow, she said. When are you going to come back home? Bud has a darts tournament tonight, I said. I thought I'd pop over there, try it out, have a couple of beers, and be home around 9. Well, unless Alicia isn't there. If she's there, I might hang out and see what she's up to. She hissed. Why do you do it? You know that I have always been partial to her, I said. While I was married to you, I never thought about it. You're still married to me, she growled. I'll come and scratch that bitch's eyes out if you're not home by 9. I didn't doubt her for a minute. She never really cared about Alicia. When I got home, she was in the kitchen banging pots and pans. I went upstairs, took a shower, and went to bed. I get up at 5:30 for work. She came after a while, undressed, and crawled into bed, naked. She pressed her curvaceous, sexy body towards me, and I felt her hand slide down. I don't want to spoil the moment, but you should have taken the test. She sighed. You're talking nonsense, Thomas. I don't have an STD. Greg is married. He wouldn't risk bringing any unpleasant surprises home to his wife. Besides, I told you I always made him use a condom, I swear. This oath is somewhat similar to an oath. Give up everything else, I asked. I'm just asking. She hesitated for a moment. How am I supposed to show you that I'm serious if you don't want to make love to me? She asked. Well, I do not know. The next day, when I returned home, she was there, bustling around in the kitchen. I'm cooking pork chops, she called. Stuffed, as you like. Yum, sounds delicious. I went upstairs and changed, came back down, and started watching basketball. She came when she heard the TV and brought me beer and chips. Wow, this is life. We ate well, and she told me she went and got tested. The results will be available in 3 days. This coincided with Friday, so it might be ready by Friday evening. The thought seemed to excite her, and I didn't want to ruin her mood. You know, Ronnie, if you have sex with your lover again, you'll have to take a new test, I said. I will not cheat on you with him or with anyone else, she shouted. How many times must I tell you, Thomas? From now on, I will be as faithful as an atomic clock. I looked at her. Sorry, she said. I am only yours, Thomas, and I will be only yours until the end of our days. It sounded very familiar, but I just nodded. Friday came, as always, and she greeted me at the door with the test results. You see, I told you so, she exclaimed. We were just wasting time. She grabbed my hand and started leading me towards the stairs when the doorbell rang. She opened the door, and there was a huge man standing there. He was 2 meters tall, and his head was shaved. A tattoo of a snake disappeared into the collar of his very nice suit. Are you Veronica Brown? He asked. Yes, but what's the matter? He handed her a large envelope. You've been served. Excuse me, ma'am. He turned on his heel and left. I was puzzled. I was sure that all the process servers were young girls chewing gum. It was very unconventional. This was a bad omen. I hope everything will return to normal soon. Veronica turned to face me. Thomas, what is this? Pretty sure these are your divorce papers, I said. She groaned and sank to the floor in the foyer. It was very undignified. I tried to help her up, but she pulled her hand away. Why? She sobbed. I told you that I don't want a divorce. Forgive me, Thomas. I am so sorry. Please don't divorce me. I picked her up and carried her to the sofa. Well, I told you this would happen, I said. Did you think I was joking? No, she sobbed. I thought you would change your mind. You should give me a chance. Just give me a chance, Thomas. I will show you what a wonderful wife I will be. Do you want to show it to me now? I asked her. She looked at me with eyes full of tears. You want to say? I extended my hand. She took it, and I led her upstairs. She showed me 3 times that night, and twice on Saturday. On Sunday, I only had enough for 2, but she was great. We have to give her credit. She called her lover, forcing me to listen while she told him that they were breaking up. He didn't take it very well, calling her all sorts of nasty names. I couldn't help but agree with him, as he used many of the same terms that I used myself, or Macy used, when talking to me. The divorce proceeded as usual, and the first thing the judge did was order counseling. We had to attend 6 sessions, or the consultant could reduce the number. The court gave Ronnie his choice of consultants, and I hated the guy. It was a fat male toad who had clearly not been married for the last 40 years. He had all sorts of progressive theories that he tested on us guinea pigs. I ran through the maze like a white rat, counting the sessions until they ended. Both he and Ronnie had made a lot of progress, but the main seemed insufficient. Oh, I made all the right sounds and played all his games, until the last session. He asked if we wanted him to call the judge and tell him the divorce was over. I replied that I would take care of everything. He stood up to shake my hand, dangling his bulk from his poor overloaded chair. I took it and squeezed it lightly. His knees buckled a little, and I hugged him. Listen, I growled. Take all your advice, all your stupid jargon, and shove it up your ass. I let him go and left him and Ronnie standing there. I went to the car, and she followed. Why did you do this, Thomas? She asked. I thought we were doing so well. Yes, I thought so too before you cheated on me, I said. She stood stunned for a minute. You're really going to divorce me, aren't you? Yes, I told you this from the very beginning, I said. Perhaps you should consider getting your hearing tested, Ronnie. Are you going to move out or make me move out? She asked. No, I like my house, I said. If you want to move out, I think you can. I think if one of us decides to move out, we'll either have to sell the house and split the money, or whoever stays will have to buy the other out. So we will get divorced, but will we live together? She asked. I told you were amazing in bed, Ronnie, I said. As long as you want to stay, I won't kick you out. Are you going to sleep with other women? She asked. As long as you continue like this, I don't see how I can have enough energy, I said. She thought for a minute, then smiled at me. In a year, we will get married again, she said. I hope she didn't bet money on it. The chances seemed very great. Subscribe to our channel so that your second chaff doesn't cheat on you, and go ahead and listen to the next story, because this story is nothing compared to the next one. If you're under 18, don't even think about listening to the next one.